The value proposition of the Xbox Ally has completely flipped in the last few weeks. It went from being the expensive premium outlier to arguably one of the smartest buys in the high-end PC handheld space. Because it's basically the only handheld that hasn't raised its price into oblivion, or at least for now. There's also the original ROG Ally and ROG Ally X. They're mostly a secondhand game now, but depending on how much you spend, they can actually end up being an even better deal. So first I want to see why the new Xbox Ally makes way more sense if you don't want to deal with the used market, and then we'll look at why an original Ally X might still be the smarter buy if you're okay going secondhand. Xbox Ally was expensive. I mean, it still is. For the longest time, spending this much money on a handheld felt hard to justify. There were cheaper options, easier recommendations, and for most people the answer was simple: just buy a Steam Deck. But now that prices across the handheld market keep moving up, Xbox Ally is not a premium option anymore. At around $600 new, and even less if you find good open box deals, it starts landing in a spot that feels much easier to justify. That's where the White Ally becomes interesting. Even though this is the lower-end Xbox Ally, performance still ends up surprisingly close to what a lot of people actually need from a handheld. You're not buying this expecting ultra settings in every AAA game. You're buying it because most modern games still run fine if you use sensible settings. 720p defaults make a lot of sense here. And for lighter games, indie titles, older PC games, racing games, and a lot of Capcom releases, this thing feels completely comfortable. The software situation in Windows handheld is also a little better now. Now, with the Xbox-focused interface improving the experience, it finally feels closer to what people wanted from Windows handhelds in the first place. You also get access to things that are annoying or impossible on Linux-based handhelds. Game Pass, and especially games with anti-cheat. You don't have to think about compatibility nearly as much. For many, that flexibility matters more than benchmark charts. That said, I also think there's one option people shouldn't ignore anymore. A second-hand ROG Ally X, the regular one, not the Xbox version. Used prices have started getting interesting. Depending on condition, storage, and accessories, ROG Ally X sells around $600 or even lower. Availability also seems pretty healthy now, especially through local marketplaces, refurbished listings, and open box channels. The ROG Ally X uses the much stronger Z1 Extreme processor and features 24 GB RAM, allowing it to run heavy games smoothly without stuttering. Combined with the Ally X's significantly larger battery and double the storage space, and the original easily wins on pure performance. So at this point, you actually have options. You can go with the white Xbox Ally if you want something brand new, or look at the original ROG Ally and Ally X if you don't mind buying secondhand and hunting for a better deal. But there's another route people overlook completely: retro handhelds. Something like the Ayn Odin 3 exists in the middle ground, where you still get strong performance without spending handheld PC level of money. If your goal is mostly retro games, Switch, and smaller Windows titles, then spending $600 or more starts becoming harder to justify. And if your focus is even more on retro and Switch, you can go cheaper with the Retroid Pocket 6 or Odin 2 Portal. They recently started reselling the 12 GB version of Pocket 6, so this is a pretty good time to pick one up if that's the direction you were already considering. You can still play PC games on the Pocket 6, but it's not the main focus. So there you have it. Steam Deck may not be the affordable option anymore, but that doesn't mean you're out of choices. There are plenty of good options depending on your use case. At the end of the day, it's not about buying the most powerful device, it's about getting the one that actually fits your games and how you play.